Good morning. This is the BLAINESWORLD podcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also listen in on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and you get more information and listen to previous shows at our website, www.blainesworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and I'm here in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. And each week we focus on positive news and information about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. It's my pleasure to introduce Morgan Menjivar, and she is president of the Junior League of Asheville, with news about their upcoming volunteer expo. Before I do anything else, Morgan, let me have you wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this. So you can.
Hi.
Okay, that's Morgan. And Morgan is president of the Junior League of Asheville for the 2022-2023 year. She's been a member since 2017. She's an attorney in small business. Works with small business and marketing consultant. She's also from the area, growing up in Western Asheville. And that's kind of cool. So you're one of a few people I meet. I think it's like 10% of all people I meet who actually, you were born and raised in Asheville?
Not born, but
Okay.
Moved here when I was 8. So as everyone says, I'm pretty close to a native.
Pretty close, but you can't take credit for that.
I don't take credit for it, no.
Well, let me ask you this, Morgan. The question I always ask, so we know what you grew up where, by the way?
We're right in West Asheville, so on Louisiana Avenue. My mom.
No, but you said you weren't born in Asheville. Where were you born?
Before that, I was born in Ohio and then lived in California. So we made a little circle.
Gotcha. So when you were a little girl growing up in Ohio, wherever else you grew up in, did you always know you wanted to be an attorney?
No, I don't think so. I wanted to be an architect for a long time, actually.
So what got you from being an architect to an attorney?
I really got into history and political science, and I think it was one of those things where people always told me I should be an attorney too. That whole I'm very good at arguing things, can be very persuasive, and I'm good at talking. So I slowly just got more and more interested in it, and then I graduated from college in 2009. So that was clearly a trying year to be graduating as a 22-year-old into the workforce in our country. And so knew I was going to go to grad school some way, shape, or form, and decided to go to law school.
Now, what's kind of cool about it, you were telling me off the air, is that going to law school ties into the fact that as an attorney, you actually work and put into practice the fact that you work with your dad. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's great. When I moved back to Asheville, I was still working for a law firm in New York City. And I stayed working for them remotely, or early remote work, until end of 2018. And then I was working on getting my license in North Carolina still, and my dad's a CPA, his name's Greg Clark, and he works with a lot of small businesses. And my legal work had been in employment law, so mainly plaintiff side, so on the employee side. But I was really interested in kind of tying that back in here with a lot of like small business owners who want to do right by their employees, but don't know the law well, don't understand how all the little intricacies work. And so we started talking more and more, and he had clients that needed extra support and just overall kind of like around the house consulting. So some HR support, some, systems analyzing and things like that. And I jumped on with one client and then slowly started adding, and we've been just kind of growing since then. And my younger sister is now starting to take on some work as well. So it's really becoming a small family business of our own.
And so she's an attorney as well?
No, she's a bit of a nomad. She's really into environmental education, actually, and she's recently got her master's in that, and works in a lot of like the tourism industry in horse trekking and things like that. And she's actually going to Argentina for a 6-week trip soon. But so coming on and kind of doing some consulting work and working in bookkeeping seems like a good supplement for her as she explores her more creative and outdoors side.
This reminds me of the whole argument, I guess, in the entertainment industry, which I don't quite get, but like the nepotism, what do they call it in the entertainment business? The big thing that they're saying, you can't work with family, but everybody does it, so it seems to make a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. But especially in your case, I want to talk about kind of the work you do, because I know when I work with an attorney, I'd often have legal questions, and he would have to farm me out to an attorney or whatnot. Yeah. So it just seems there's a great tie-in together What kind of legal work do you do though, specifically when you work with small business?
Yes. So contract review is a lot of it. I do a little bit of wills and trusts too. So simple stuff. I'm not doing anything complicated, large estates. I'm going to send you to one of the very large and established firms here. But a lot of contract review, a lot of just, advising on HR practices and, employee contracts and, so that's what I'm mainly doing. So I don't do it. That's my full work on a daily basis. I'm not spending all day doing legal stuff, but, really, we're really trying to be there as a wraparound service for small business clients. And when we're talking small business, a lot of our clients are solo practitioners, maybe have, one or two employees or just starting to bring on an employee themselves. Another thing that I do a lot of is actually helping clients form businesses. So forming their LLC, getting their, employment aspect set up. So all their withholding numbers and their unemployment and, helping them see the benefits of having a better legal structure or something more written out rather than just well, this is just how I run my business. So yeah.
Well, I see that a lot. I have done a lot of work with SCORE, Asheville SCORE. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they advise small businesses. And we tell them exactly what you're saying, that, you need help. And so you need to get expertise rather than, no offense to some of the books out there, that you can form your own corporation. You can do this, you can do it, but you're not going to do it very well, and
there's going to be things you miss and little intricacies that it's not worth your time. Your time is better spent doing what you're good at, what your business is about. Let me take on these other things that you don't need to be spending your time doing so that you can focus on your passion.
Well, and you raised such a good point there, because again, not only focusing on your passion, but the idea you should be doing things that you enjoy doing as well. So for example, no offense to what you do, but and especially to what your dad does, but I have no interest in doing accounting work. I have and less interest in doing legal work. And so why should I try to spend time and effort in something computer work? That's why you have IT people, whatnot. Your dad's firm. So what's the name of the firm?
So we're both individuals. So he's Greg Clark, CPA, and I'm Morgan. Actually, my professional name is Morgan Marshall Clark. As a lawyer, I practice under that. And so we're technically separate entities because that's just the way that legally we have to be set up, but we work totally in tandem, and you get both of us when you are working with us.
And since we're on the subject, let me just ask you to mention, if folks do want to get in touch with you now, just the legal part of it, they want to get in touch with you for legal help, assistance, best bet to find you is what?
So the best way to find me is to email me. My email is morganm.bk@protonmail.com.
Okay. You repeat it again?
Yeah, I'll repeat that. morganm.bk@protonmail.com.
Okay. And that's if they want to speak to you about any legal questions or.
And if they have any accounting questions as well, I'm happy to then bring in my dad and Greg Clark, and we can go from there.
And I like what you said too. We'll make it easy for folks. It'll be kind of a one-stop shopping rather than start giving out your dad's email address and all that good. And we don't have to give out your sister's email address either. So we'll just keep it working. So what's cool? So you do this is now kind of your primary thrust, your legal practice. But also, I actually come on board to talk about an organization. It's been in Asheville for a couple of years, but I have to say you're the first representative I've had the pleasure of interviewing, and that's the Junior League. And I'll ask you if you can kind of maybe get the Reader's Digest version, keep it under maybe 10 minutes to what's the Junior League?
So the Junior League of Asheville, we were actually founded in 1925. And we affiliated with the international organization, the Association of Junior Leagues of America, which is now an international, not of America, in 1927. We are a women's civic leadership and training organization. So our goal is to help women learn the skills to be great civic leaders in our community. So volunteer service is a big part of that. And we historically have done a lot in our community. One of our hallmarks in the last 50 years or so is that the Junior League helped found the Nature Center of Western North Carolina. We were a big part of that organization coming and being what it is today here in Asheville. We're really looking forward to, I know their 50th anniversary is coming up in a few years, and we're really looking forward to being a part of that. We've shifted a lot over the past almost 100 years, as can be expected from a women's organization. And, you know, I think there was a prior conception of this of being, you know, ladies who lunch kind of concept, which, you know, historically the junior league definitely had a lot of ladies who lunched, but also ladies who did a lot of really hard work in their community, and gave back in many ways. We also helped with downtown not being lost to a major shopping mall. We were all one of the organizations that bought a building on Biltmore Avenue, and we owned that up until 2016. And we used to run a thrift shop there called Next to New. So that was another, so when then we ended that, I think in 2012, I want to say, because just staffing a thrift shop became a lot for an organization that was becoming more and more women who were also working full-time, running their households full-times, and didn't have the extra time to also be staffing a store, because that was part of it.
I think to your organization's credit, there now, it seems like almost too many thrift shops out there too. You know? So you name it, every hospital, nonprofit has a thrift shop.
Yeah.
And, you know, and plus, I guess with you folks, you don't have a full-time, they're not full-time employees of the junior league, you know. So
we did have paid staff at that time as well, but clearly it just, and downtown was thriving, and there was no reason for us to, you know, our purpose of being there was to help downtown revitalize. And we did that. And like I said, we sold the building in 2016, and it's doing great. I think there's a jewelry shop that's been in there now for a few years. It's like 2 doors down from oh my God, I'm just blanking on what the name. That's right across from the Fine Arts Theater. So we're right across from the Fine Arts Theater, which, you know, at that time was not the Fine Arts Theater. So a lot has changed in downtown Asheville over the years. So that's another big community aspect that our league took on. And now we are a league of about 65 active members. So our active membership, you need to serve for 7 years in our league, and then as an active member, so that means that you have a commitment to us to give 10 service hours a year and to fundraise $150 a year for the league. And then once you hit your 7 years of service, you can enter what is called a sustainer position. And kind of as the word implies, these are women who still, you know, are committed to the league, but their only commitment is the dues aspect. So everyone pays dues, but as a sustainer, your dues are a little less, but that's your only requirement to stay as a member of the league. And we have about 150 sustainers. And then after that, we have about 25 to 30 emeritus sustainers. So those are members that are over 80. So we have women who have been a part of this league for decades and continue to support us as an organization.
And talk about your involvement. So you mentioned that you grew up in the Asheville area, but you first became involved with the junior league when?
In 2017. So
what got you involved in it?
Yeah, so I'd known about the league for a long time. One of my best friends from college is a sustainer now for the league in Orange-Durham County, North Carolina. And she had constantly said to me, when you move back to North Carolina, you need to join the league. There's clearly a league in New York City, but that was a little too big and overwhelming for me as a law student and early working. I was not ready to make that commitment to an organization yet. And when I moved back to Asheville as a late 20-something-year-old professional woman, I wanted to get involved. I wanted to make new friends that are women that were like me, that wanted to give back to our community. We're passionate about, you know, civic causes and leadership. And so I knew the junior league was the place to do that because of my friend who had said, like, this is the organization to join. And luckily I had another friend from my my gym where I work out who was a member and got connected and was able to join.
And your experience then, I guess you're reaching that 7-year mark, or you passed it now if you join them?
So I am just past it. So it's you have a provisional year is your
Right.
first year, and then then it's 7 active years. So we recently changed that from 5 active years to go sustainer. We'd been 7, we've gone back down to 5, we've made some changes. But so I am in my 6th year right now as a league member. I plan on staying active longer. There's no reason you don't have to go sustainer after 7 years. Yeah, you can stay active as long as you want to.
Or in your case, of course, you could stay active and retain, say, as president for another. No, I dare not mention that.
But our leadership changes over every June 1st. So we actually just voted in our new leadership slate at our last general membership meeting, which is very exciting. So our president for next year, we have a 2-year process. So you become president-elect. And then that means that you're going into the president position. So our president for next year will be a lovely woman named Jennifer Hoffman. I absolutely adore her. She's become one of my very good friends in the last, we actually joined in the same year, and then we've now been on board together for, I think this is our 3rd year on board together. She was our treasurer before that.
And talk a little bit about the fact that as a member or officer in your case, talk about why that's good for a professional. I mean, in your case, a young woman professional. Is that something that you recommend all women should do? If not your organization, some other organization?
Yeah, I think the opportunity to lead an organization is amazing. The skills that you gain from learning how to, review financial documents, make decisions about bylaws, reflect what your membership is looking for. So constantly getting feedback, lead meetings, just being able to know how to put together an agenda and run a meeting in any shape of job you're working in is a benefit to have. And I think the Junior League of Asheville in particular for our area provides a lot of leadership opportunities. Like I said, we're a fairly small organization of 65 active women. And so there's a lot of opportunity for you to chair an event, for you to chair our recruitment, for you to learn how to fundraise, to learn how to event plan, to learn how to manage conflict between people. There's just a lot of opportunity within our organization that I think sometimes it's hard to find in your professional life, but reflects really well when you're going out to meet people and talk to strangers and learn about what you kind of want to do more or push your job to the next level.
Well, just also, I would imagine in terms of contacts you're making, like in terms of, for example, in the Asheville chapter, about how many active members are there?
65.
Okay. And those 65 members, talk a little bit, if you would please, about both the age range and the occupation range of these women.
Yeah, so to join the league, you have to be 21. That's the only age, a woman and 21. Our membership probably ranges from 25 to our active members from around the age 25 to, I want to say 50 right now. So big span of ages. We have women who work in all different fields. We have a woman who works for international travel agency. We have real estate agents, bankers, marketing professionals, other attorneys, other financial planners, as well as, women who are stay-at-home moms right now, running their households and taking care of their kids, and all of the above. So running retail shops, trying to think of if I'm leaving anybody out. I would hate to leave somebody out and be like, you left my job out.
Well, also, as we think of that missing person, how often do you meet?
So we have our general membership meetings once a month from September to May. We take the summer off. We do have social events, and you can have committee meetings depending on what you're on, but our general membership meetings are once a month from September to May.
And is that a lunch, dinner meeting, or when do you meet?
It's evenings on the second Tuesday of the month. And so from 6:30 to 8 is generally, and our meeting format is usually we have a speaker related to our community. We have 4 different councils as an organization. So we have community membership, communications, and fund development. So our community council works on getting different speakers from different organizations, nonprofits in the area, to come and educate us on what they're doing so that we can learn about their impact in the community and things they need and ways that we can contribute to them. So we usually have a speaker of some sort from them. We might do some sort of training as well. So how to fundraise, how to update your resume, how to be good at public speaking. Throw something like that in. We covered some league business, and then we have time to socialize. So that's generally takes up an hour and a half easily.
And then that's perfect segue into one of the things I actually come on board today to talk about, that in addition to doing all that other stuff, you're also involved in planning a couple of major events throughout the year. Let's talk about the one that's coming up, because I think it's coming up next month, and that's something called the Volunteer Expo.
Yes. So the Volunteer Expo.
What is that?
So it's basically like a job fair for nonprofits looking for volunteers. So this will be our 5th year. We took a year off for COVID. And this is our 5th year doing this, and it came about because we really started to become like a networker for nonprofits. So helping connect nonprofits with volunteers and also with each other. We've had people who a lot of people come to the Volunteer Expo say that they also love it because they get to spend time talking to other nonprofit leaders that they don't get to see other times because they're so busy running their organizations. So it's February 11th at the Crowne Plaza Expo Center. It's free and open to the public. We usually have between 500 and 1,000 people who come through, and anywhere from 50 to 75 nonprofits that are there, ranging from environmental issues, horse therapy, public gardens. The Nature Center is there. Boys and Girls Club, I know, is going to be there this year. I'm trying to think of some other the organizations that I know are committed. We currently have 53 nonprofits that will be there this year. And that is open to accept more nonprofits. Our cap is 75 just for the space. Everyone has a booth and can have information out. So it's a really nice experience for people looking for a way to give back in our community.
Well, let me ask you, if a nonprofit is listening, and there will be some, if they want to sign up, can they still sign up to have a booth there?
Yes, they can still sign up to have a booth there. They can email our Volunteer Expo director. Her name is Mia Eckel, and her email address is volunteerexpo@juniorleagueofasheville.org.
Okay, I'll ask you to repeat that once again. So if an organization is listening, they want to come to it, they contact this person via email. Is there a charge to this, by the way?
There is no charge for
Very
nonprofits
nice. Wow.
and no charge for attendees. Yeah.
Okay. And so for contacting to have a booth, which is a great thing you should have, that email address was what?
It's volunteerexpo@juniorleagueofasheville.org.
Okay.
And they can also visit our website, which is volunteerexpoabl.org. And our application is there as well.
Okay. Now, also with respect to that date on the 11th, giving me an idea here, how long, what's the time framework of that?
So it's from 12 to 3 p.m.
Okay. And what day is that? Do you know?
Saturday. It's a Saturday. So it's Saturday, February 11th from 12 to 3 p.m. If there is snow or ice, it will be March 11th. And that will be announced on all our social media if we do have to postpone it. But let's hope that doesn't
Don't mention
happen.
that. Okay. It hasn't happened yet. But and if not, if there's snow on March 11th, we'll move back to April 11th if it be the case.
We'll do what we have to do.
But that's really cool. So it's very nice. You give a shout out to, again, where you're having it. This is going to be at the
Crowne Plaza Expo Center. So right behind the Sam's Club in West Asheville.
Okay. We should give a shout out to them, because I understand you told me they're doing this and they offer you the space for free.
Yes. Yeah. So that's part of how we are able to also offer it to the community for free, is that the Expo is one of our partners and gives us the space for free as well. So that it's awesome, the thing that they do for us. Okay.
But what a great way for people to not only network, but also to find out about all the cool stuff in the Asheville area. I mean, that is amazing. I hadn't known that. So thank you for telling me about that too. And I'll mention to you, or I think I told you when I post this as well, get me information. I have a blog I'd like to share there as well, because what a great event too. And so it's usually, you said anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people come?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think last year, which was, we had to take a year off because of COVID. It just wasn't safe for us to have the event inside at the time. In 2021, but we came back in 2022, and even with some bad weather that day, we had 500 people turn out. I think 2 years before we had about 1,000. So we're really hoping to get back to close to that number this year.
And let me ask you, as being a good example of this, that if somebody's listening, say on the younger side who are listening to this, even if not a candidate for, a junior league, what's the best way to get involved with a nonprofit for the first time? And you kind of being an example when you got involved in junior league.
Yeah,
what should somebody do?
I think a great thing is just to reach out directly to the organization. I mean, clearly coming to the Volunteer Expo is a great way to do that, so you can meet some people in person. But all these nonprofits right now, we keep hearing from them now, especially with COVID, they are getting ramped up and they are back to full capacity and they need their volunteers back. I mean, we've heard this. We have a community organization event in the fall and spring called our Community Advisory Council, and we have about 20 different organizations that rotate through there. And this fall, one of the things that all of them were telling us was that they need volunteers and they're back to having a lot of volunteer opportunities. So most of these organizations have a place on their website that's like volunteer at whatever the name of the organization is. And I would reach out if they don't have things directly like posted on their website. They are all looking for help and would greatly appreciate whatever skills you have. I mean, if it's writing blog posts, if it's sharing social media posts, if it's going out and doing hands-on, working in a food bank. I know, they're all in high need right now. Volunteering with kids, doing after-school tutoring. Like, there's so many organizations in Asheville. I'm not sure if you know this, Blaine, but we have the highest per capita of nonprofits per people in the Asheville, Western North Carolina area. There's over like 300 nonprofits in Western North Carolina. So there's a lot of organizations doing a lot of different things. They're all looking for people who have the same interests and passions and want to give back to the community.
I think if we use you as an example, we should also point out to folks that volunteering is also kind of a cool thing. I mean, it's a fun thing. It's a learning thing as well. And the line I use, I don't know, you may know the name, a woman by the name of Shirley Chisholm. She was the first African-American to ever run for president, the first woman to ever run for president. Great line, but it applies to Junior League, I think. And she says, service is the rent we pay for living on earth, And so I don't know about you, but I've gotten so much out of being a volunteer, in terms of what I've given, I think I've gotten so much more. It's just it's a great thing to do to help other people,
and it really is.
And I guess you don't see it until you do it, So until you got involved in Junior League, I guess, and then that seems like a full-time almost job for you, on top of everything else. But very, very cool. Talk also about Junior League, major event coming up. I'm glad you mentioned the date. I just started it down. You also have two other major events, I know, throughout the year. And talk a little bit about them, please.
Yeah, so on April 15th, we're going to have our Be the Change Challenge 5K. It's in person and virtual. This is our third year doing that. And that supports our Be the Change grant, which goes to help organizations working with vulnerable individuals in the Western North Carolina area. And we give away 5 grants worth $1,000 each. To these two nonprofits in the area. We really are excited about it this year. It's our first year having an in-person 5K. We hosted the last 2 virtually and had some great support and some great turnout. And we've supported a lot of really great organizations in the area through our grant process. So if you're looking to sign up for that, our information is on our website, which is the juniorleagueofasheville.org. There's information about our Be the Change Challenge. Both the 5K and the grant are on that website. Our grant application for any nonprofits interested will be open in the next 2 weeks.
And by the way, when we talk about Junior League, you spell out junior, J-U, spell out.
J-U, it's Junior League of Asheville. So all spelled out. Yeah.
And what I love about that, I just love the whole concept of that, because a lot of people run in marathons and they're all good and they support organizations. But your organization is in turn then supporting 5, which is really cool. You're supporting 5 others, and anybody's eligible for that grant. They just have to apply for it.
Yeah. So the only thing that is required is that you're supporting vulnerable individuals in Western North Carolina. So we have a great grant application, which was another thing that was something that we all put together using skills from different members who had worked on grant applications. A bunch of members learned how to write a grant application themselves, how to score a grant application. So also great skills that come from being a member of the Junior League. And we're really excited about it this year, because our whole goal of starting it was like, how do we make an impact in our community during COVID without being in person? And that's where the name Be the Change came from.
And what I just love about it, it's just not again, benefiting people in the run, but also then you're going on top of that, benefiting other people. I guess the great thing about this grant application also is we also know an attorney who could review the legality of
Yes.
application, so
I did help with that. I did.
Okay, great. So that's 2 events. And then you were telling me in the fall, you have a third thing coming up?
Yeah. So in the fall, we have a family festival called the Touch a Truck Family Festival. So that's at the Asheville outlets. I don't think we have our date secured yet, but we will soon. It's usually the 3rd or 4th Saturday in October. We usually do it around Halloween. And this ended up happening by accident. It was September, and then there was a hurricane and it got postponed. Now we do it in October. But it's a great family event. We get a huge turnout. We have a lot of community organizations that are there as well, but our main goal is that it's a touch a truck. So Blaine, I don't know if you know what a touch a truck event is, but it's where little kids get to come and touch and get in trucks. So we have excavators and dump trucks and fire trucks and police cars and...
Wait, I think I saw it. You do that? You did it at the outlet mall, is it?
Yeah, at the Asheville outlets.
And did you do it last year?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned it, I did see it real quick. They had the circus at the time, and the circus was around the corner. And so I went to the wrong place. I saw all the traffic at your place, and I said, I don't want to touch a truck. Oh, looks like such a cool event, though. And by the way, I don't know if you ever gone to the circus. That's a cool event too.
Yeah, we love the circus. We work with them. They give tickets away for us, and we give tickets away from them. So we actually have a great relationship with the circus.
But it's so funny.
Every year we are.
There's so many people there, and what were they doing there? Touch a truck. So you have to do me a favor. Then what I'll ask you to do is keep me in the loop. You'll know me, my email, Facebook, whatever. But you guys do such cool stuff. And I'll ask you if you can one more time. Best bet if folks want to find out about Junior League, especially the upcoming event, is to go to the website.
To go to the website, and you can also follow us on Facebook. We post everything on there. We have a pretty active social media, so that we're Junior League of Asheville on Facebook and on Instagram as well. Okay,
and it would seem to me, based on what you're telling me, if somebody wants to get involved, if they come especially to the Volunteer Expo, they should see you folks first, because before they go to anywhere else, we could use them in Junior League. But wow, you guys doing great stuff, and I thank you very much, because prior to this show, I'd heard about Junior League for all these years, but I didn't recognize the cool stuff you do. And just thank you very much for being part of the Junior League. You guys do really good stuff.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed sitting here and talking with you.
Okay. I'd like to also thank my producer, Cappy Tsetti, for putting on the show. And we hope to see you next time we're on Spotify, Facebook, LinkedIn. You'll find the Blaine's World podcast. And I'll speak to you soon. Morgan, be well.
Thank you. You too, Blaine.